we talked about this in our commentary track. We have a commentary track, by the way.
We do.
For the first one. So we're not going to dwell on it too much. But when did you, just to refresh people, when did you first hear about this movie? Because you saw it way before me.
I saw it way before a lot of people.
Yes.
Way back in 2007. I was working at a university, and at the time, Paranormal Activity was only being played at college universities, and they were doing the whole, if you want it, shout it to be at your school and whatever. And they played it at our school, and I saw the original non-Spielberg meddled with version. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it scared the crap out of me. It was so good. And then I could not wait. I'm like, this is going to be a huge thing when it finally does come out. And then a couple years later, they did release it in the theaters, and they went and they put it and they had a different ending. I'm like, what the hell is this?
There were a couple endings to this
There were
one.
a couple endings.
Yeah, the whole demanding thing was a big selling point of the film. So
Right.
I didn't know until I started looking into it that it had come out a few years prior. Like a lot of people, I just saw the advertisements for demanded in your town. And I like found footage stuff, and you do too.
Yeah.
You did that awesome video on found footage films with the McPherson tape, which I love.
It's so good.
I went back and then I watched the remake that I didn't really know about, and that one was good too.
They're good in their own ways, which makes them cool.
Yeah.
Because it's the same idea, but it's done just different enough.
I really like found footage. Around this time, and found footage existed before this. There was Blair Witch, obviously. Cloverfield was popular. It's funny
Holocaust.
how a trend, there'll be a few early examples, but then the trend won't take off till 10 years later. So yeah, then this came out, and then there was way too many found footage films, not all good. It kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Now I think it's coming back a little bit.
It's kind of good and bad. There are still, every now and then there'll be a found footage film that comes out that just is a very unique and cool way of doing found footage, as opposed to, it's a bunch of people that are yelling at each other with a camera.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them were at the time. But yeah, I'm gonna read the back of the Blu-ray here.
All right.
You demanded it. And now the surprise hit critics call one of the scariest movies of all time can be experienced in the most terrifying place of all, your home. A little presumptuous there to...
Yeah. That is the scariest place of all. Why my home should be the safest place.
Yeah. I mean, I get saying it's going to be scarier because you're watching it at home, but this is saying that your home is already scary.
Right.
And this movie will make it scarier. I mean, there's probably some people who live in shitholes that are like, man, this movie's going to make this place way scarier.
Oh, yeah. Ghosts? What? I'm terrified.
After a young middle-class couple moves into what seems like a typical suburban house, they become increasingly disturbed by a presence that may or may not be demonic, but is certainly most active in the middle of the night, especially while they sleep. Paranormal Activity builds suspense. I'm sorry, that was written in red. I have to do that scary. Paranormal Activity builds suspense night after night, all the way to the shocking ending. Roger Ebert calls it truly scary. I can't do a Roger Ebert. Go ahead. We dare you to watch it at home. At least you can leave the lights on.
That's
horrible. Not a good...
Who got paid to write that?
I don't know.
Because it's not even right.
After this, I'm going to go grab my DVD and see if that said the same thing. I think this is a whole new ad copy.
Yeah. Well, first, I don't want to get into this too much, but I just want to mention really quickly, they were already they'd been living in the house for a while. It's the thing with the movie was that Katie comes home. Yeah. He has a new camera.
Yes.
That was the new
They're already
thing.
there.
They've already been moved in.
So yeah, it's a very simple story, and this is directed by Oren Peli, written and directed by Oren Peli. Shot it in his home, I think. He put up his own money. What was it? How much did this cost?
I think originally it was $15K.
Yeah.
Shot it in a couple at a couple weeks or something.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty now because it's, but yeah, it was very low budget, very, very quick and dirty.
If I remember right, like he like added an addition to that staircase or something just to make it look a little different. I guess that's where a lot of the money went to.
Pretty much, because
but
they didn't get paid very much to do this.
Yes. But the strong thing about this film are the two leads, Mika and Katie.
Mm-hmm.
They are really great. They're very likable, at least for me. They feel real. They feel like real people.
They feel like a real couple.
Yeah, they really do.
I was like, wow, did they find a couple? And I'm like, oh, no. And they didn't know each other prior to this.
Yes, which I thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, Mika, I really do like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of an asshole. He's very like, Mika is like if I was in this situation and I could really relate to that.
What is your quest? What is your favorite color?
But Katie's very realistic. This movie scared me because I was dating a Katie at the time.
Oh boy.
Who liked to talk in her sleep. So that was a lot of fun to see this movie with her, and then she's talking in her sleep, and I'm like, of all the nights to talk in your sleep, did it have to be this night? Could you stop? And it's got very simple but effective scares. And I know a lot of people are like, and I understand people not being scared about a lot of this stuff. It's like, what? There was a noise in the background? What? Like a Ouija board moved? I'm like, yeah, but for some reason, for me, subtle stuff like that scares me.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't understand why. But part of what I liked about the movie the first time I watched it, because I didn't know what was going to happen or when it was going to happen, I was constantly looking everywhere on screen. I would, like, whenever they're in their bed, I'm looking down that hallway, just seeing if something was going to, like, walk by or something.
Well, that was why they framed it that way.
Yes.
So that you would be, just looking all over. And it was great. It was a great use, because if they had that door closed, it wouldn't give you that depth to look for something.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just a very effective film. There's a bit of lore that gets very complicated as the movies go on. So apparently Katie's been followed by this presence her entire life. Mm-hmm. She said it was always watching her and not her sister. They retcon that.
They retcon that almost immediately.
And then there was a fire when she was a kid that burnt the whole house down. So she doesn't have a lot of stuff from her childhood. And now it's back years later, and she's talking to like a supernatural guy. I don't know what he is.
Yeah, parapsychologist.
Sure.
Yeah.
A con man.
She called up Encounters, and they sent someone out.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like, why is it after her? What's going on there? And then Mika is kind of fucking with the ghost, and that's kind of making the demon.
Right.
Is just making it be like, all right, because the guy warns him, is like, I don't know if you should be doing this. You're kind of inviting it in.
And he's like, do the ghost thing. Do it.
She calls him out at one point. She's like, you think it would have left footprints if it didn't want to? It's like fucking with us. But the cool thing that this movie adds, and it helps because they didn't have a lot of budget to really travel, the demon will follow you wherever you go. So leaving the house does nothing.
Right.
I really wish they would have explored that in sequels. I would have loved someone to just go to like Times Square and the demon gets it there in front of everyone.
They need a little bit more money for that. But.
Yes. But like, I mean, by the sixth one, they should have went all out on that, I think. But yeah, and that's kind of what you watch, the whole movie. And then it ends. It ends with her getting possessed.
Boo, no, it doesn't.
He doesn't like this. It ends with her being possessed, throwing Mika, and then she does a scary face. Now, do you want to go into this change here? What was the original one that you saw?
The original ending that we saw, the original ending that me and my wife had seen, it was a lot longer. And I think that they thought it was too drawn out. Whereas me, I saw it in a theater, packed house. Everybody was terrified those last 5-10 minutes. Katie gets up in the middle of the night, goes downstairs, screams her head off. Mika goes down to see what happens, and you hear a struggle, which basically you're left with the vision that she kills Mika.
Yes.
So she comes upstairs. She's got a knife with blood all over it. She sits down and starts rocking back and forth
for days,
for
right?
for 24 hours or something. They kind of speed the camera, footage ahead, And then some other stuff happens, but that's, the police come for a welfare check. They find her, like she's stunned. Like the demon lets his grip go on her because he's like, oh, good, I can mess with her some more. So she's got the bloody knife, and these cops show up and they see her, and they find, Mika's body. They find her like just bloodied, and she's walking down the hall with the knife. She's like, what's going on? And they're like, drop the knife. And the demon.
Yes, please.
Demon wants to completely fuck her over. So there's the door behind her, slams the door, cop panics, shoots her, drops dead. And then at the end, it just was like a picture of her and Mika, and it was like, and it was so much more effective because it was like it just kind of came full circle. They screwed with the demon, and they got the horns, so to speak.
And then apparently Spielberg, who wasn't really even involved with this film,
he wasn't involved until originally. I think it was Jason Blum had sent it to him.
Yeah.
He was going to buy the rights and give it a big budget remake.
Okay.
And then when it started getting a lot of buzz in the theaters, they were like, "Oh, this is great. We can save a lot of money. All we have to do is just bring them back and do like some reshoots." And I think the reshoots ended up costing like millions of dollars. And I love that a $15,000 movie needs millions of dollars of reshoots. But
I'm not sure what scenes were at. I think we kind of theorized the one where she's in bed and her face kind of morphs a little bit when she's like, everything's going to be okay now. I feel like that might have been added.
I think that might have been added. Yeah, but they don't, because there's no like commentary track or anything. So there's no real, short of talking to Oren.
They never
really went into what was and what wasn't.
They never released that original cut. They released the deleted ending.
They did.
Oh, they did? Is that
they did? Well, no.
Okay.
Not in the US. You have to buy the I think it's 88 films. I think you have to buy the imported version.
Oh, gotcha.
To get, and I'm just like,
is that where another paranormal movie, the next one we're going to talk about, the Japanese?
No. That one I'm not sure where that one came.
Okay, we'll get into that one.
But yeah. But I mean, but the thing was, just to kind of mention with that, the reason why they made the second one was because they were going off of like the original, end of the first one. So
yeah. I will say, so Spielberg saw it. He basically told him to make some changes, and he suggested that ending. There was a third ending, where she just walks in and slits her throat. That's the most,
which it's the most like lackluster, because it's kind of like it really, in my humble opinion, is one of the reasons why I hate her throwing and doing the demon face is because the whole movie has been about tension. Yeah. And it's been about sound, and it's been about just stuff, the little jumps here and there, but not in your face jump scares.
Yeah.
And to end on a CG jump scare, it deflated it so much.
I guess the one saving grace is it's literally like the end. So I still enjoyed everything up to that. I didn't mind it too much, maybe because that's the first one I saw.
If you had seen it, you might have had
it might have changed
your opinion.
My viewing. It's kind of funny they didn't do what Blair Witch did, where Blair Witch shot a bunch of new endings and then they went, that first one was good enough, let's just go back and do that one.
Yeah, they did all kinds of different ones. Yeah, where like the one where Mike was levitating and all these like different.
Yeah, like, he's like hung up on one.
And it's just like, nah, you know what? The original was good. And you know what? Thank God, because the original, like people.
It's one of the most famous endings in a horror movie ever.
Yeah, it just boom, and then just the camera runs out of film, and everybody that was another one I saw in theaters, and everybody. I had a friend of mine, big dude, end of the movie. He's in the chair, like rocking back and forth. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
But yeah, again, solid film. What's your favorite, before we move on, what's your favorite scare in the film?
My favorite scare in the film has to be when when Katie gets pulled out of the bed and she's Mika, and then the door slams. Oh my God! It's like and then the other one where the footsteps go down the hall and the door.
Yeah,
dude, it's just like so.
Those are good. Those
really,
are good.
really, but it's great. You know?
Yeah,
It's
no,
such
I
an
really.
effective
That's probably.
scare.
I mean, that was one of the selling points in the trailer. I thought that was pretty good. I do kind of. I think my favorite. It's not so in your face. It's just when she's standing next to him, and it's just time lapse where she's just not moving. Again, maybe dating a Katie who
was
did
gonna say, that
weird
could be
things in the middle of the night might have made this
That
work.
could be crazy bitch girlfriend, you know? Like, that's why that was scary.
She hit me one night.
Oh, Jesus.
Literally, I like woke up because she was moving around. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she like slapped me. And I'm like, did I do something? She went right back to sleep. And I'm like, the fuck what is going on here? But yes, another reason they have to keep Katie alive, even though you like that other ending. I don't know if you notice how many sequels there are.
Yeah. Well, I have a funny thing I just uncovered on 2, which we'll talk about when we get to that. But